everybody, and welcome to Chanson D'Automne by Alessandro Montoro. Chanson D'Automne is a small-scale skirmisher set in the profane lands of eternal autumn where leaves fall until the end of time. By small scale, I mean as small as one model per warband. Regular warband sizes can be one model, 2 models, or 3 models. A special rule may add another model, a so-called avatar, to the warband, but that's the uppermost limit. In Chanson D'Automne, weird terrain plays a big role. Models can interact with terrain, or worse, the terrain can interact with the models, with the fighters. Here in this scenario, we've got 2 kinds of weird terrain. We've got the cursed trees, which are basically regular trees by our standards. So they are trees that are still alive. However, in the profane lands, the autumn-themed trees are the common trees. So every tree that is somewhat autumn-themed here with leaves on the ground is a regular tree. Every other tree, such as this one, that one, or pretty much every tree with a big base here on this table, is a cursed tree that may lash out onto the fighters. And the other kind of weird terrain are these patches, which are scattered here. These patches come with dry leaves and dry vegetation, and there are actual rules for setting these patches on fire. Let's see whether I can make use of this rule. Okay, for this scenario, we've got 2 warbands. We've got these 2 guys consisting of Nightshade, which is a hunter coming with a Dragonbone bow. And this one is the meat shield, the Ghoûl, which is just a normal fighter, as opposed to the Nightshade, which counts as a rare fighter. And the other warband really consists of just this Undead Minotaur. However, this is one huge and epic fighter. I'll put the stat lines of these 3 down in the video's description, so you can check them out there. At the beginning of a game, the stances for the fighters are determined. Each fighter enters the game in a certain stance. The Minotaur, as well as the Ghoûl, will come in the aggressive stance. The Nightshade will come in the defensive stance. Right, enough small talk, let's go. So, Initiativ has determined the hunting duo here start this turn. They are more than 2 inches away from this disc, from this piece of terrain, so the cursed trees don't lash out. And we'll begin with the Nightshade just moving ahead 4 inches, keeping his distance to the cursed trees. And the Nightshade comes with Shadowstep boots, which are special boots allowing him to roll for further movement activation. On a die result of 4 or more, he would have gotten another free movement, but for the moment he just remains where he is. The rules state you have to start with your warband within 3 inches away from the border, from one of the borders, or from a corner even. But I thought for the Undead Minotaur it was more dramatic to start here on top of the hill. And it doesn't matter too much anyway. So let's just move. Yeah, it's a Minotaur. He moves. Okay. The Nightshade, as a rare character, receives 2 activations per turn, so I could give him another activation right now. The Ghoûl, as a normal character, receives just 1 activation per turn. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'll activate the Ghoûl by moving him up here, and that's it. The Minotaur is an epic character receiving 3 activations per turn. He has had his first activation, so he receives another 2. He could move down here, but then he would stand like this, and the rules explicitly say you have to put a character somewhere where he stands in a proper way. So let's keep the Minotaur just standing there. That's okay. So the Nightshade uses his second activation to move in here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The Minotaur uses his last activation to move down here. Okay. Okay. Initiativ once more determined. The hunting duo comes first. And the Nightshade actually sets this patch on fire. Beginning with the next turn, this one will be burning. So if you're standing in a burning patch, you automatically get stunned. Alright, this reduces the options for the Minotaur a bit, as the Minotaur now could theoretically use this path and risk ending up in vicinity of cursed trees or directly in a burning patch. Or he can go the long way around this hollow tree stump and see where that leads to. Probably more arrows from the Nightshade. Good job! So the Minotaur moves around here. And at least he is hidden behind the tree stump. At least that's something. The Ghoûl moves up here for his activation, and that's it. The Minotaur takes another activation, moving somewhere here. Okay. And the Nightshade uses his final activation to move here. Let's hope for the best now. And the Minotaur gets one last activation, moving here. Nightshade should have moved back there. Dang. Didn't think this through. Okay. Turn 3. The patch with the dry leaves is burning, so you better not start your turn here or you are automatically stunned. And Initiativ has determined The Minotaur goes first. So he moves up here, which is pretty close to the Nightshade. The Nightshade should just move away. However, the Undead Minotaur has some kind of a somewhat fear-inducing ability. So if the Nightshade actually wants to move, he has to roll on his intelligence, which is a 3. So on a 3 or more, the Nightshade may act. Okay. Lucky you. And let's get out of here. Right. The Minotaur, moves in. He charges. Charge is a combination of a movement action and an attack action. So the attack is somewhat tricky in Chanson D'Automne, but still it makes a lot of sense actually. As a basis, every fighter receives 1 die. The Minotaur, being epic, had the option to raise his stats enough to receive another die, hitting on a worse condition, but still with a chance of hitting. And because he has yet another skill allowing him to hit even harder, he receives yet another die to roll against the Ghoûl. So let's check the stats. The Minotaur hits on a 2+ with his first die, on a 6+ with his second die coming from his stats, and on a 4+ on the die for his skill. Additionally, he receives a +1 as his profane number. His epic, his profane number is 3, is higher than the profane number of the Ghoûl, which is 1, because the Ghoûl is just a normal fighter. Anything else? Yes. The Minotaur has an aggressive stance, and the Ghoûl has an aggressive combat stance. So each fighter receives another -1 on his dice rolled. So the Minotaur gets +1, -1, that's 0. And the Ghoûl receives a -1 to his die rolled. And now we are checking who rolls more successes. I'm starting with the Minotaur. His first die hits on a 2+. That's the first hit. The second die on a 6+, it's no hit. And the third die on a 4+, that's another hit. He would have had a chance of re-rolling all dice if I hadn't liked the result. His weapon causes the option to re-roll the dice. That's 2 successes. Again, 1 possible success of the Ghoûl. The Ghoûl goes down and is stunned. All right. The Ghoûl tries to heal on a 2. Yep. So he gets back up. Mildly infuriated, the Minotaur once again punches the zombie on a 2+, a 6+, 2 hits, and a 4+, 3 hits. From the Minotaur, the Ghoûl can't possibly score more hits and once again goes down. the Nightshade. I have to confess, the rules are somewhat fiddly here. I'm not sure whether he's allowed to shoot into melee, whether his meat shield still counts as in base contact, but I guess it does count as in base contact. So all the Nightshade can do is try to support his teammate. Yeah, he's within 3 inches, so he can transfer his remaining action onto the meat shield if a roll on intelligence succeeds. So, in order to activate, he has to roll on intelligence as he is within 7 inches of the Minotaur. He succeeds. He has to pass another intelligence check to make the Ghoûl perform an action, which succeeds. And the Ghoûl tries to heal. Wait, does the Ghoûl have to make an intelligence check as well? I mean, the Ghoûl is of average intelligence, so let's just say he needs to. And he succeeds. And a constitution check for standing up. Wow, alright, lots of die rolling, with the result of the Ghoûl being back again. Alright, time for a new turn. Alright, Initiativ once again has determined the Minotaur goes first. And once again the Minotaur attacks the Ghoûl on 2+, fails, on 6+, fails, on 4+. This would be a hit, a single success. However, I make use of the special weapon the Minotaur wields and just reroll all the dice. The 2+ die succeeds, the 6+ die does not, doesn't matter, and the 4+ die receives a +1. So it's a 4+, but it receives a -1 also. For the Ghoûl is an aggressive stance, so there's only 1 success with a 5. Now the Ghoûl may roll his die, and he succeeds on a 4 or more. That's a success also. Now that's interesting. Let's see what the rules say. They both have an equal number of successes. They both have the equal number on their dice. The Ghoûl, however, no, he's in aggressive stance. If the Ghoûl was in defensive stance, he would now be the winner and the Minotaur would be the loser and would be stunned. But for now, it's just a result of nothing happens, I guess. Let me check. Okay, I checked and the rules actually don't handle this case. For the moment, let's just rule it's a nothing happens result, and I'll contact the designer and make sure he puts an according note into the rules. But for now, it's the Ghoûl's turn, or rather the hunting duo's turn, and the Ghoûl tries to activate. Once again, he needs to roll on intelligence for activating and fails, so he just forfeits. And once again, it's the Minotaur's turn. Once again, the Minotaur strikes on a 2+, strike on a 6+, and fails, and on a 4+, and lands another hit. This die receives the +1, -1 modifications, so yeah, 2 hits against a Ghoul, which can only score 1 hit at most, so the Ghoul goes down. And once again, the Nightshade can only try to support the Ghoul on a successful intelligence check, that's 3 or more. The Ghoul tries to heal on a 4 or more for his activation, but fails, so the Ghoul stays on the ground. Interesting. So, for his final activation, the Minotaur lands a coup de grâce on the Ghoul. So the Ghoul is removed from the table without any die rolling. It's out of the game. And that was the final activation of the Minotaur. However, the Nightshade still has got an activation left, which he will make to good use. So, Initiative has determined the Nightshade may begin. And another interesting rule kicks in. The Nightshade is the only remaining member of his warband that used to consist of more than one fighter up to a couple of moments ago. He now receives the blessing by the God of Solitude, which basically means he receives a +1 to any die rolled. So he begins by checking whether he may fire an arrow at the Minotaur. He has to roll against his intelligence, and he succeeds. So, as the Nightshade is an assassin, he not only gets to roll his shooting stat, but also his intelligence stat. Both of them are 3. With the blessing of the God of Solitude, the Nightshade rolls a hit on at least one result of 2. And here we go. The Minotaur goes down. But he tries to get up, and yes, he manages getting up. The Nightshade checks whether he can knock one more arrow. Yep, here we go. Same procedure as the turn before. Here comes the hit. Once again, the Minotaur goes down. The Minotaur checks whether he may get up. Yes. With the Nightshade not having any activations left, the Minotaur uses his last activation to charge the Nightshade. And once again he rolls his 3 dice. 2+, that's a hit. The 6+ is not a hit. And the 4+ is not a hit either. It would be 1 success with a 3. That's a pretty low result. So the Minotaur just rolls his dice again because he can. The 2+ result, that looks better for him, is a hit. The 6+ result is another hit. Oh, dang. And the 4+ result. Even this one is a success because the Minotaur has the higher profane number than the Nightshade, so he may increase this die by 1. So that's 3 successes for the Minotaur. The Nightshade is pretty bad in melee. and even his assassin skill could at best grant him a second die, which is not sufficient to match the 3 successes, so the Nightshade goes down. Last turn, Initiative has determined the Minotaur goes first, so he just coup de grâces the Nightshade, and so the hunt is over. The Minotaur has defended his territory, and yeah, that's it. So here we are back again. If this would have been a game in a campaign, yeah, the rules include campaign play, you would have plenty of options to toy with, such as sending your warband on exploring the profane lands, or getting new equipment, or what else there is. But for now, yeah, all I can say is thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did playing the game. And I'll put you the link to the rules down in the video description, so you can check them out too. And if you enjoy them, welcome to the profane lands of eternal autumn. See you around.